tell what type of list I'm going to be making today. My top 10 favorite romantic comedy movies. I slapped myself a little bit too hard. Just kidding. It's going to be a top 10 list of my favorite fight compilations, fight sequence list. The best fight sequences, choreographed fights. I don't know what to call this. I'll probably look at my text messages because my friend gave me the idea. But yeah, it's going to be my top 10 list of my favorite fight scenes, and let's get to the shits. So starting off the list is going to be the movie Ip Man. Oh man, this movie is basically about Bruce Lee's master and his ventures on like eating the shit out of everybody. And just watch the scene, man. Like Ip Man, like just look up Ip Man versus 10 black belts. This scene is absolutely mental and such a brutal scene. Oh, so good. I can't. So yeah, that's number 10, Ip Man. Oh. So my number 9 is a little bit out of place, and I feel like not many people have seen this movie, but it's absolutely amazing. It's called Grandmaster, and this is the famous rain scene, one of the first fight scenes in the whole movie, and just like stylistically, it's just such a beautiful scene. Like I took many screenshots, put it as my background for the longest time when it came to this movie. So this is definitely a more artsy action film, so I definitely say you should watch it and enjoy yourself because this is an experience. So the next clip is clearly a little favorite of mine, the Bourne Ultimatum series, Bourne Identity series, and Jason Bourne goes ham. The scene that you just saw me do with my friend was heavily inspired with this scene, especially with the tablecloth. Sorry, not tablecloth, the towel aspects where Jason Bourne beat shit out of a dude with a towel. Like, I don't think there's anything more swag than that. So, like, that's why this had to be my number 8. Clearly, it had to be my number 8. So, my number 7 is a weird one. It's Undisputed 3, actually. And the funny thing about the Undisputed series is I've never seen any of the movies, but I've seen all the fight sequences. I know I'm a bum, but let's just say that the fight sequences are absolutely batshit crazy and overdone, and I think that's why I just love it. And it's like very bloody, very male bravado-esque, if that's a thing to say. But like, look at them, like they're beating the shit out of each other. It's amazing. In like a ring, and it mixes like MMA and everything, with like mixed martial arts. So like, I really do appreciate that type of shit. So, oof. So when it comes to this Donnie Yen movie, Killzone, this is gonna be my number 6 spot. Honestly, this could easily be one of the greatest fight scenes of all time, but I have such a bias, so hate me if you want, but this scene is fantastic nevertheless, and it is truly one of the best fight scenes. And if I'm not mistaken as well, when it comes to this movie, this was almost like a freestyle fight between me and his friend, him and his friend. And this is like them kind of testing each other's boundaries and seeing how good each one were at actual fighting. I think that was the lore behind the whole movie, but if you watch this fight scene, you're going to want to try to do some shit with your friends, and it will not look as good as this. Because I tried doing this. It did not end well. There were bloody knuckles involved, and head injuries. So, highly recommend you don't do this scene, but definitely watch it and appreciate it for what it is, because oh my god, there's nothing like it, honestly. So when it comes to my number 5, I have to give it to my guy Bruce Lee with Enter the Dragon. This scene, which everyone knows for because Jackie Chan was in it and got his head beat by Bruce Lee. This scene in particular is a very iconic scene, and overall just such a great action scene where Bruce Lee changes his weapons throughout the fight. until he reaches the nunchuck level, and oh, when he reaches the nunchuck level, his level of swag and disgrace. The amount of times that I actually had a nunchuck when I did karate back in the day and I hit myself in the head trying to copy what Bruce Lee did, it just never worked out in my favor, and like it just shows how much of a master he really was and how pathetic I was. Ooh, so number 4. This is one of my favorite Jackie Chan scenes ever. Jackie Chan and Drunken Master. Oh my god. This scene just brings out Jackie Chan's best qualities about himself. How he's an amazing fighter. How easily he can turn a scene into a comedy scene. And just how fluid and effortless he is. And especially with his drunken style of fighting. It's so good. Like, no one can ever do what Jackie Chan can do, which is action comedy. And he is truly one of the greatest, if not the greatest, action hero, hands down. Man does all of his stunts, you have to remember that. My number 3 clearly had to be Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Oh my god. So this scene, let's give some backstory. I forget the characters' names, but let's say the young girl steals the jade sword that's super powerful, super strong, and is owned by another person. And what happens is one of her friends confronts her and she's like, that shit ain't yours, give it back. And she's like, no, I don't want to give it back. So then they have a full out amazing showdown with each other. And because that jade sword, if it is, even if it is jade, it's probably emerald or something. It's some beautiful dragon sword that's green, let's just say that. And then basically showcasing how strong that weapon is, as that sword destroys every single weapon the older lady's using. And just this scene is so good. I can't. It gets me really excited even thinking about watching this scene, because I've honestly seen it about 10 times, if not more. So my number 2 is going to be clearly the Raid 2, the ending fight scene. And I'm going to make sure I show as little of this as I can, because I'm not trying to spoil this fight scene. Because the Raid 2 is a definite must-watch movie, and it just showcases hand-to-hand combat at its finest. And people like testing each other out, and it basically does what Bruce Lee's method was. The reason why he was so renowned was because he showed every single crisp movement, and also like wide-angle shots in the sense to make sure like you see everything, and how he keeps everything more like, let's just say that he revolutionized fight sequences overall. And I think the Raid and Raid 2 kind of follow that ideal and enhance even further. Let's just say that. So yeah, watch Raid 2. Shit's amazing. So, my number 1 pick is Raid 1, the final fight scene. Yes, I know it's the Raid, but guys, when I say this is the greatest action movie of all time, this is the greatest action movie of all time. This fight scene is a 2v1, 2 versus 1, sorry, my nerd just came out. A 2 versus 1 fight with the main hero and his brother versus the villain. And the villain's kicking both their butts. Like, come on. What movie has ever done that? Well, there are probably a lot, but I can't list any movies off the top of my head where the main hero and his brother getting their asses beat by the villain, and he's killing them both. Oh my god. This is one of the harshest fight scenes I've ever seen. Super brutal. Oh my god. And when it comes to the Raid, I remember the first time I ever watched this. This was in college. And before we ever saw the Raid, my friend introduced me to the scene. And the whole entire time I was rooting for the little guy because I didn't realize that he was the villain. And then when I saw him die, I'm like, how could they kill the hero? And they're like, you dumbass, he's the villain. I'm like, oh shit. This scene is immaculate. It is just a great scene, and not many scenes can compare to this. Because all other scenes no doubt have their essence of like beauty, amazing shots, super close-ups on Rain, super buff guys like beating the shit out of each other. Like, every single scene before this has some feature that like makes it overdone. While this one just sticks to the strict fighting. It's not like two brawling men. It like it really demonstrates that like you don't have to be super big to be super intimidating. So when it comes to this top 10 list, it was a lot more unconventional. I tried keeping it as short as possible. And I got a message. Okay. Yeah, so this video is a little bit more unconventional. I wanted to keep it more so toward the actual fight scenes. And more so just how I felt about watching those scenes. Like, these are actually my reactions as watching these scenes on repeat and kind of reliving those moments myself. Yeah, I have a great ending. I hate myself. But yeah, this is my top 10 list of the best fight sequences ever. Yeah, I hope these inspire you to actually watch the actual movies, because action movies are just those things that you gotta watch with your friends. Most movies are what you gotta watch with your friends, so that was an irrelevant statement. But let's just say that when it comes to action movies and all these fight sequences, you screaming with your boys or your girls, there's nothing like that. And, God, scary movies can do the same thing. Okay. I want to stop praising action movies. Let's just say watch this shit, enjoy it, and peace.